This week's episode of the podcast is being brought to you by Global Gift Registry. For more information, visit globalgiftregistry.org. Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sibylla Muti. Hey, great girlfriends. Hey. I am so excited to be back with you here in our pod world. Woo! Y'all. Doers and Disruptors was amazing.com. If you missed it, you can still get an all-access pass, unlimited replay up until October 28th at thegreatgirlfriendsconference.com. And when I tell you, you will take notes upon notes upon notes upon notes and then more notes, like it keeps going. There was so much wisdom dropped, like I could scream. And literally, you'll walk away with thousands of dollars worth of knowledge and material that you can invest into your next level, supercharging your business, supercharging your relationships, your personal life, everything you need. So head on over to thegreatgirlfriendsconference.com and purchase your all-access pass. That is your all-access pass, unlimited replay. And that's going to give you the keys, all the keys you need to prep up in this Q4 and prepare for 2021. Because guess what? Success is not canceled, great girlfriends. I repeat, success is not canceled. Speaking of success, I am so happy this week to bring to you a conversation between three female founders, the founders of Brown Girl Jane, which is a CBD-based wellness company. And they have incredible resources to offer to us to talk about the power of CBD and the uses of CBD in our everyday life. Now, for those of you that are thinking CBD makes me crazy, it makes me high, it does this, it does that, this conversation is for you, like it was for me. And quite frankly, I know that we need this wellness information more than ever right now, since we're all at home and figuring it out, a lot of DIY health and wellness. So take these solutions into consideration. Definitely check out this conversation and share it with a great girlfriend. And last but not least, leave your iTunes review. Listen, your iTunes review is not when you send us an email and say, hey, I love the podcast, it's incredible, X, Y, and Z, ABC. Your iTunes review is when you literally go on iTunes, click the icon for the podcast, and write your review. When you write your review, thousands upon thousands of other great girlfriends will see that review. They trust you. They want to listen to your word, and then they go and listen to the podcast. And that, my friend, is how we continue to grow our community. So after this show, head on over, get your all-access pass for Doers and Disruptors, head over to Brown Girl Jane, check out their products, leave your iTunes review, and you will be done. That's your homework. All right, enjoy this episode and share it with a friend. Peace. I want to dive right in. I want to get some background. I don't want to paint the story of three friends got together and just boom, their business. I want to hear from your beautiful lips how this all became.
I will let Malaika start.
Absolutely. You know, it's almost like this journey found us. We all have been really grateful to have been successful in our respective careers. My background is on Wall Street. Nia's background is an executive in philanthropy, and Tai is an amazing beauty expert, wellness expert, TV host and editor. So we were doing all of the things for a long time and just working to, shatter all the glass ceilings. And what happened was we all, were confronted with true wellness issues. So with me, I was going at full speed, found out that I had, some back issues that happened after the birth of my third child, and really had to confront for the first time what wellness meant for me. And that led me to discover some amazing plant-based solutions, including CBD. And I was wondering where we were in the conversation, why women of color and Black women were not centered at all. And we certainly didn't have any collections that I could point to that centered our needs, whether it was better sleep, whether it was clarity, just getting rid of some of the anxiety that we felt, and also some of the beauty needs that we know. So what we did together is just went down the path of exploring everything that CBD had to offer, all of the amazing ways that it could be worked into a beautiful luxury collection for our sisters, and in the process form a community around us that was very true to supporting the wellness of women of color. And so that's what we do every day. Every inch of our business is really devoted to women who are everything to everyone, who are juggling balls in the air. And that is how Brown Girl Jane was birthed.
I love that. So who sent the text message that was like, yo, you want in on this? Or here's what I'm thinking.
That would be me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait, why have we not heard of this? This is so dope. This is amazing. And there's no high. It can be used in all of these ways. Nia, and I'll let her tell you, but Nia was in New York, and she has 2 toddlers who are high energy. She had a high power job. And I knew she was trying to juggle as well. So I told her about it. And Tai is our amazing Spellman sister, who was probably traveling more days of the year last year than not. And I knew that it was something that she could integrate into her wholeness routine as well. So together, we just really tried to figure out how to build it in the most beautiful, effective way. And that landed Brown Girl Jane.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so in my mind, the CBD industry is intimidating, and especially for women, and then especially for women of color. So give us a little bit about how you're navigating that as founders. Is it an issue? Does it even matter? Does it come up? And how do you handle that?
I'll take that. It's Tai. So good evening again, everyone. I think Malaika was really onto something, and I feel fortunate. I don't know if we shared, but Malaika and Nia are actually biological sisters, and then I'm their Spellman sister. And so I think Malaika and Nia were really forward thinking about the opportunity in the space when you realize that there's this amazing plant that has so many properties that we don't necessarily know about, especially as Black women, but are in the most need of wholeness and wellness, right? And so when you think about it, we're the ones who literally are like clamoring to keep ourselves like at the top of our A game, but staying at the top of our A game despite the challenges and the rigmarole of life, but not aware of the qualities of the plant because of the criminalization in our community, the over-criminalization, hyper-criminalization of the plant, and people who have used and been connected to cannabis in the plant. And so it was just really drawing on our experience. And quite frankly, I say this as a businesswoman, I think when you make it very personal, no matter how niche the community may seem, I think the authenticity of the story and the vibrancy of the story and that alignment just speaks to what it is. And so I really credit, Malaika for recognizing that this was an area where we were not talking about CBD. You're right. There are less than 4% of people in the cannabis industry are Black and of color. So with that being said, that also says that that's a major opportunity for us, not just for Brown Girl Jane, but for anyone else looking to come into the CBD space, but anchoring ourselves in the principle that we wanted us to be whole. We are the most deserving group of people who deserve to be whole and who need to be whole. And so we're not intimidated at all. I think what we see it as is an opportunity to lead and to be first to market and purveyors in this space that opens up the community of wholeness and wellness for our tribe, but furthermore, even opens up the landscape for entrepreneurs to come into the space as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Tai. It's so true, that wholeness piece. I love that there's that speaks to an entire being. It's not just about one facet of who you are. And, there's a ton of businesses that are out here monetizing off of Black girl beauty, right? Really wanting to capitalize off of the beauty, but not investing in it from a wholeness perspective. And when I hear you say wholeness, I think about an inside out type of job. So give us a little bit of insight on how that intersection of beauty and wellness kind of really does intertwine with wholeness, because I see a bridge there.
Nia, why don't you start? Because I think for us at Brown Girl Jane, I'll lead with this, and I think Nia would be great to kind of talk further about it as our Chief Impact Officer. We're anchored in community. So I think I mentioned the idea of our storyline really being connected to the fact that this is our truths. Now, Malaika is a mother, has 3 children. Nia is a mom, has 2 children. Tai is almost married, no children yet.
I love it.
But my point is that there are all the stories and the narratives that apply to us as Black women that we make up. And I think us being anchored in those stories, in those narratives that are true to Black women, is what creates that unique space for us. So I'll let Nia talk about impact and community.
Sure. Well, thank you. I think just to echo what Tai said and what Malaika said, we are very unapologetic about who we center and who we speak to. And that's Black women and women of color, because we know for so long we've been left out of that conversation. And wellness has been something that is perceived as a luxury, quite frankly, which it's not. It's a necessity. And so when we created Brown Girl Jane, we were very intentional about making sure that we were speaking directly to our community and saying to them that we are you, that this is important. And as we think about wholeness, we look at that as when you're aligned with your mental state, your spiritual state, when all of those things are operating in balance and working for your best self. And so absolutely, we look at beauty as something that comes from within. And so, we certainly, in everything that we do, it is anchored in our sisters and in Black women. And you'll see that through our social impact work that we do, through our conversations that Tai hosts weekly with we call them our tribe, which is basically our sisters. You guys are our tribe. So everything that we do in our language and our outreach is 100% for us. And letting the community know that this is something that is for you, because you're right, it is something, the cannabis plant is something that has a stigma around it. And so it is really on us to educate people about what it is not, and how, quite frankly, it is something that can be beneficial to you and your lifestyle in a very easy and realistic way. So absolutely, sisterhood is everything for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that community piece is so powerful, right? Because what we've seen in 2020 is that for any brand that was not rooted in community, they've gotten lost in the shuffle of it all. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you guys have powered so well, that you good sis conversation, and even tying into the needs of what women are speaking to in our quiet moments, that's when those wholeness or wellness conversations are happening, when no one else is around, when we have to show up for ourselves really big and don't have the resources, or we're really trying to troubleshoot solutions. I've seen you guys in the pivot, in the cracks and, in the crevices, kind of speaking to us in a very intimate way. So I just want to salute you for that, because it feels like your presence can be felt, especially when like you say, 2020 was this year where, everyone was looking as brands were looking to survive. And I see Brown Girl Jane really thriving by investing in core connections in community and speaking the language. And I even want you guys, if you don't mind, just highlighting the Brown Girl Swap. That was a powerful experience, a beautiful initiative that was inclusive of other wellness brands. And I want to shout you out for that. And I thought that was an amazing entree into really the collaborative of beauty. So just tap on that if you'd like.
Yeah, I know everybody wants to speak about the Brown Girl Swap, but I'll just say, really quickly, when you talk about wholeness and the luxury of the wellness community, for us, what I like to say, and since all three of us went through ADW at Spelman College, we can easily say this, that we like to say that wholeness is to wellness what womanist is to feminist. So it takes into consideration all of the levels of intersectionality and those access points and what our real experiences are. So with wholeness, we can't talk about wellness to a woman who is trying to figure out how to feed her children and doesn't have the socioeconomic benefit to go to a yoga class. We can't talk to her about wellness. We have to talk to her in a language that meets her where she is as an entry point around wholeness. And so that's how we approach it as a whole. And I think in that vein, talking about the Brown Girl Swap, which, I'll let Malaika talk more about, but it was for us, what is the entry point for other Black women entrepreneurs in the beauty and wellness space to come into this space and thrive? And we've been fortunate, even with, over a short period of time, to have access points of relationships, of amazing product. But there are so many other Black women and future Madam CJ Walkers out there who don't necessarily have that benefit that we wanted to create access for. And that's a part of the sisterhood that we are and the tribe that we are. So Malaika, talk about Brown Girl Swap.
Yes, I can't wait. Yes, so I think like everyone with everything, Tai calls it the Pandalution, all of the social justice that is at the forefront of all of our minds this year, and COVID, and all of us really trying to confront what we want from our lives and how we're going to make an impact, whether it's professionally or personally. We sat and we said, how can we try to push this economic empowerment for women like us in our industry? And so we came up with something called the Brown Girl Swap, which asks all of us to swap 5 mass market brands in the beauty and wellness category for those made by Black women. And so it's a super easy thing to do. You can swap out your lipstick, your CBD, your personal care lotion, all those things. And so that started as an online initiative and quickly gained speed, and along the way gained the attention of Unilever and Shea Moisture. And together they came and they're powering the Brown Girl Swap even bigger than what it was, including a $250,000 grant contest for women founders, Black women founders in the beauty and wellness space, because we know that we're starting businesses like no one else, but we are not funded. We are not capitalized at the same rates. And so we this was all about creating solutions. And as part of that grant contest, those winners will receive entrepreneurship classes and mentorship from executives at Unilever and Shea Moisture. And so it's just an amazing door that's going to open for women like us who are starting in these industries. We also are having a internship program at Unilever for Black college students. And so they'll be able to get a firsthand view about that industry and an eye into that profession. We are also asking everyone to take the pledge to swap out the 5 products.
What are we missing? We had swap, amplify. So also as a part of amplification, in order to shine a light on other brands. So like, as we're telling you to take the pledge and take the swap, we're amplifying, and Shea Moisture is amplifying as well. And also on our website and across our social platform, we've identified 25 Black women-owned brands at all levels, and amplifying their brands on our platform. So ultimately, we're lending the light that we have and shining it a light on others simultaneously.
That is how the work gets done. I love it.
And this is sisterhood. Like your sister jumps in when you forget the 5th pillar and all the things.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Yes, we have each other's back. I love it.
But that's important. That's how the work is done. That's how the impact is made. That's why the community and the village mindset is so essential to every tribe member, great girlfriend listening, watching, your female founder. These nuggets I'm grabbing are that you have to be inclusive in that thinking every step of the way, right? So even as you're building your platform, creating a bridge or a roadway for someone else is equally as powerful because it makes a strong foundation. So I just want to celebrate that. That message of inclusion, is so essential. And again, the Brown Girl Swap, I was like, that is amazing. That is really smart. And it's a great way for us to all really invest in those brands that we love and trust and believe in.
And I think also, just like you said, Sybil, I think for us, it's also sometimes we forget. So, I've been a patron of Melissa Butler since the very beginning, since Melissa legitimately was making those lipsticks out of her kitchen. And we have these products, and it's so easy for us, even as beauty and wellness enthusiasts, like we'll post our clothes, we'll tag those people, but to be intentional about sharing those insights about who it is, because sometimes it might, I have a cousin who makes lipstick, right? And to tag her and to shine a light on her. So I think the swap was just our easy way, not only for our own community, but even for other, I like to say, that are moving from allyship to advocacy, to participate in the conversation and recognize that there are ways for us to be a part of the solution, because that economic empowerment and to narrowing the socioeconomic gap that exists between us is a part of the answer. That's the long-term solution.
Amen. Some of the facts that we really, really want to dive into today, because CBD is that creepy word. You can never say it around your granny unless she was a fan of Mary Jane back in the day, right? And so, even now people get awkward and sensitive around using the word CBD, talking about using, different products that are supported by CBD. I want to get into some of the real and the fake on that, because I have found my solutions, thank God. And thank Tai, because you did help me out with that.
Good job.
But I also want to really shine a light for everyone that's listening and watching today, and just drop in the chat any fake news that you've heard about CBD. We're just kind of curious what the buzz has been in your life about CBD. But can CBD replace your regular everyday medicines, your medications that you're taking? Can it be used? Let's start there.
So it depends what it is, right? CBD, you should think of CBD as a supplement, as something that should be a part of your wellness toolkit. And it's so amazing because it can do so many things. So it interacts with what's called an endocannabinoid system. That's the system that keeps us at balance. So we have all of these biological receptors inside of our bodies, all of us. And when they're not aligned, you get restless. You don't have the clarity. You may feel anxious or have some anxiety. So yes, a lot of the time CBD can take over from, some of the pharmaceuticals that you are using. Is it a cure-all for everything? No, just like anything else, it's not that, but it's an important piece of your daily wellness toolkit that can really help tilt the scales in terms of just getting you to homeostasis, which just means balance. So getting all of your internal systems balanced, feeling good, feeling clear, all of those things, absolutely.
So really quickly, can we speak to, when you say balance, what are some of the symptoms of imbalance that some of the women listening may be experiencing without even knowing? Mm-hmm. We kind of normalize pain.
I think that's part of the challenge, I think. Yeah, I think that's part of the challenge for us, Sybil, especially as Black women, like the feeling of stress or not getting enough sleep, all of those things, we start to normalize those things, and we just accept them for what they are. When you're feeling anxious, that's usually a reaction to something that's happening in your body. It's inflammation. And so we know that CBD, which is a part of the cannabis plant. So, and the plant itself is just beginning to be more studied. So we're learning about 100, let's say, strains in the plant itself. So THC, the one that gets you high. So THC is what gets you high. That's what causes the psychoactive reaction. CBD, on the other hand, and the CBNs do not have those effects on your mind and on your mindset. So the reality is that, as Malaika said, if you use it as a supplement, you're able to, almost like a vitamin, you're almost able to create that state of wholeness and wellness as a baseline. And obviously THC and other parts of the plant have been used to treat specific medical issues. But in terms of keeping yourself in balance, when you feel anxious, when you're uneasy, when you're not sleeping, when you feel restless. All of those things are supported by your endocannabinoid system.
Yeah. And I'll just add to that just very quickly. I think just on a personal note, I didn't really know. I think we know when we're off balance. The question is, do we listen to it, right? Do we actually ask ourselves and take the time to pause and say, okay, this is not right, instead of just normalizing it? And personally, for me, Malaika mentioned I had 2 young toddlers. Prior to my knowledge and use of CBD, I felt myself having anxiety. I just kind of felt like something was off. There were days when I would just be extremely, anxious, but yet I thought that was normal. I was like, oh, I have 2 young kids. This is what every mom feels. This is normal. I would worry if he would fall at school when there was school, and so I would be like, is he okay? And I thought that was normal. And so I really just kind of normalized the sense of being off balance. So I think, just to that earlier point, I think you just have to take a moment and pause and realize that, making sure that when you feel something off, which is anxiety, which is being, not being able to sleep at night, which is, inflammation, if you're all of a sudden, breaking out, all of those things are reacting to what's going on internally. And so the question is, do you listen to it? And so for me, CBD really helps align myself with how I felt, how I knew I should feel, and tell myself, okay, this is not normal. Here's something that I can do to help and exist in a more, balanced state.
That's really good. We've got a question over here from Rochelle Douglas that says, I would like to know more about how CBD can help with ADD. And I'd like to add to that question, what's an age appropriate time to kind of introduce it into your children's lives?
So I will say that CBD is used by people of all ages. Our collection is specifically geared towards adult women, but and CBD is not FDA regulated, so it's a supplement. So it's used in bath bombs, and it's used in teas, and it's used topically. And so I think you really have to, it's a personal question between you and your physician about ages, but we know that one of the first entrepreneurs in the CBD market really created the product for their child. So, and there is CBD in an FDA regulated product for epilepsy, for childhood epilepsy. So children do absolutely use it. In terms of ADD, a lot of people use it for clarity. A lot of people use it for overall balance. The thing that you have to remember, like Nia and Tai mentioned, is that when something's off, a lot of times all things are off. When you're feeling anxious, when you're not focusing, a lot of the times it's because your internal systems are just out of whack. When you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to show both in your beauty and in your wellness. Like, all of this is intertwined. And so what we found is a lot of the times we too were, viewing all of these issues as separate issues. Oh, I'm just tired because I'm working a lot, or I'm just anxious because I have toddlers, or et cetera, without really having a comprehensive approach to getting everything aligned. And so CBD is one of those things that can really just help overall with some of your wellness and wholeness journeys in general.
And what I would add also, like, if you have been clinically diagnosed with ADHD or ADD, as you're speaking to your therapist or your physician, ask them about like what they would prescribe for you. But I do think what is important is that as people of color who obviously are over medicated, right? We are over medicated disproportionately, especially in young children. Ask about natural ways in order to find remedies and supports for us and even our children, opposed to pharma. So for some people, pharma may be essential. Yeah. And so let's just say that. But I will share that I have a friend who has a husband who has been diagnosed as manic depressive, and actually the prescribed drugs have not worked as well as cannabis and other plant-based supplements to support his overall health and wellness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's really good. We've got a question here that says, can CBD work with meditation or clearing the mind? And I think you tapped on that, but is it a precursor to meditation, or is it, what do you suggest in terms of use?
All of the above, but
yeah. You'll hear us, you'll always hear the Brown Girl Jane team talk about our toolkit. And that's because we know that there is not one solution to everything. It's really about, creating that toolkit, creating the essential parts in your toolkit that are going to help you address whatever issues that you have and issues that you don't want to have. So absolutely. I mean, in your toolkit, in my toolkit, there's CBD, there is meditation, there's journaling, there's moving my body, there's, getting breaks from my kids. There's all those sorts of things that are in the toolkit. And so it's all a collective process. But what we found is that you really have to be intentional about it. It's not going to happen on its own. You have to figure out, the external things that you need to support you, like your CBD, and then the internal processes that are going to help, whether it's journaling, meditation, all those sorts of things. But absolutely, for clarity, for focus, that is one of the main uses that we find from our tribe.
I was going to share really quickly, Nia, I'm sure you will remember like that email that we got from Sharice, one of our tribe members who during COVID started using balance. And after 3 weeks, she has 2 children. She said she had always wanted to write a book. And after 3 weeks of using balance, that was the only thing different in her routine. and during COVID, and she was homeschooling these children, she said she was able to clarify what the idea for the book was and to write the book and to get it published and to find an illustrator in the course of a week. So when you talk about clarity, but the other thing about CBD in our collection that we encourage is that you use it daily. So it works like over time. So obviously the more you have it in your system and the consistency of it being in your system, the more normalized you'll feel in your new state.
That's so good. Something so powerful that you said, Malaika, you said a wellness toolkit. And, I want to say that is the strongest intention I think that we could even create for ourselves, is to have in our mind a toolkit, a reference box of things that we use. And I see this as a great addition because, like you said, when it comes to clarity, I know I'm not the only one that struggles with a cluttered mind, having so many titles running at once. And now school teacher is my newest, and all these different things that we just get layered on. And, it's easy to say, take the weights off. But the truth is that you do have these layered responsibilities. That clarity is something that we never want to compromise, but we tend to. And I'm hearing Tai say, when you regulate it in a routine, make it part of your habit to just introduce it or incorporate it into your daily. And I know we're going to speak about a couple of those ways in a second, but that over time, I'll get to finish the book that I've been trying to write for the past 2 years.
I mean, Sharice did it. You talk about it.
But solutions, the answers will come to you quicker, and the decisions are easier, and the world is less consuming, and it gives you just the space to be who you are instead of really that competition or that fight that we sometimes have internally. If I'm not the only one that has had a war within, you can just drop in the chat because you guys are making me feel kind of lonely. But I know that there are others that have had a war within. You just really struggle with that. And sometimes we don't know where to turn or what to do. And I didn't know that balance was my new, but now I know balance is one that I need to add to my kit. But I do want to ask you another question about that. This is an important one that has come up on multiple occasions. Inhalation. Do you smoke it? Do you use it topically? Do you ingest it? What are the differences? And with CBD, what are the differences in the methodology or approach to use? And I feel like I hear which one is most valuable, but I'd love for you all to share from your perspective the most valuable way to have it effective in your routine.
I think it just depends what you are using it for. So again, to your previous point, our bodies were not built for this life that we're leading right now. Like, quite frankly, our biological systems were built for short-term bursts of stress. We're not built to have 2,000 tabs open on our laptops or sit in traffic, or even the noise pollution that we have. Like, this is not how we are constructed biologically. And so that is why, external things like CBD can help support. Now, how you use it really depends on why you're using it. I think that you should always use it as a daily integration internally. So that is what Tai has in their hand. That is a tincture. You can just drop it under your tongue. And so that is going to be absorbed.
While you talk.
Yes. And I feel like I should do this.
Right. But hold it.
But you drop it right under your tongue. One of the main...
I'll do it with you, Ted.
One of the main points of difference with our line is how good it tastes. I mean, CBD can sometimes taste like you're licking a tree. And ours is really fresh and really wonderful. So as a daily wellness toolkit, whether it's for, anxiety or clarity or focus, under your tongue, in your beverage, you can do like that. I also use it.
Are you forgetting Yoni?
Oh yeah. No, I was going to, okay. Absolutely. Yeah. Yoni is important too, ladies. So we have something for everything. That's what Tai is doing is the ingestibles. So you can take that during the day. The balance, a stronger dose is rest. And you can take either of those at either times, but that's going to help with internal wellness, focus, all of restlessness, all of that sort of stuff. We also have Heal, which is a body butter. It's amazing. It not only has CBD, but it has shea butter and calendula and aloe and cucumber and all of these things that have a pain relieving effect. And so that is going to soothe muscles. I had an epidural and the spine, the needle hit my spine. And so that was actually what led me to CBD. It's super powerful in terms of just topical pain relief. And so you can just put it on your body like that. The other,
I also use it, Malaika. I just want to interject there because I also use Heal. If anyone follows me on social, you know that I'm a crazy fanatic about fitness. But when I get my massages, I actually take the Heal and have them integrated into any oil as well. Because topically, what happens is that on your skin, your body absorbs the CBD more quickly, the same way that it does as a tincture, which is sublingually is the fastest way for your body to absorb it. But you feel the relaxation in your muscles almost instantly. So I would probably say within like 10 minutes of like massage, I feel a lot more relaxed in my muscles as well as in my body. So I take a tincture before going for the massage, and then I also have them use it topically.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yoni. So vaginal health, super important, cannot be neglected. CBD is wonderful for inflammation as a daily, we use Yoni as a daily relief. So you can use it after the shower, after the bath. Some people use it as a lubricant. But overall balance, vaginally, it's amazing for that. And then our newest product, our hero product, is Glow. Glow is what keeps all of our skin looking as poreless as possible at our age, because it tackles inflammation like no other. Inflammation, as you may know, is the root of all skin evil. So from acne to breakouts to redness, all of that is really about inflammation. And CBD has more antioxidants than vitamin C and vitamin D. So you'll hear a lot about vitamin C serums. You get it all with our Glow potion, which is also food grade and ingestible. So 4 out of 5 of our products are multi-use, because we believe that, products should be able to do more than one thing, especially these days when everyone is doing all the things and wants more out of our collection. And so you can both use it on your skin and you can use it internally as a tincture.
Listen, and did you also mention in your food too?
Oh yeah.
Another really cool way that you can use it just with your tinctures is drop it in your smoothie, in your coffee, in your tea. That's one of my favorite ways actually to use it. There you go, Tai. And it may take a little longer to kick in that way. However, it's very easy, very simple. I actually do that every day around like noon with my lunch. So that's another way that you can use our products.
I love it. You got a lot of yes girl happening in the chat over the Yoni. So
yeah, no, it's important. It's funny because my OBGYN is such a fan. She is always sending someone to Brown Girl Jane for lots of reasons in terms of the Yoni. So yeah, it's important. It's like every inch of our body should be taken care of, and so that is an important part.
I love it. Do we possibly have a second to do our Glow on the Go?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I actually had made a drink with my Balance tincture, and so I did because it's finally for something over here. And so you make your concoction, your margarita, because our Balance actually has, my hands have the heel on it, but because the Balance actually is also has orange essence in it, it has a very nice citrus taste. And so I just add 2 droppers of this to my cocktail as well, as a way to kind of integrate it the same way that you would do it. And I typically shake it. So there are ways to kind of exactly support. It is 5:00 somewhere.
It makes us feel better about those cocktails, but it's wellness.
But it's wellness. It's total wellness. So I use Glow as a replacement for my moisturizer both day and night. So I don't actually use any other moisturizer. The only other thing I put on my skin is my SPF, and I cleanse my skin with a 3-step process. I use cleansing cloths, I do a face wash, and then I do cleansing cloths again. Sometimes I might add a toner, but not often. And the only thing I moisturize with is our Glow facial, and then facial serum. The other thing that I do is eye cream. But here's what I recommend as if you had washed your face with your 3-step cleansing. A little of this goes a long way. Mm-hmm. So you're only going to need about 2 to 3 drops, not a full dropper. The thing about applying a serum, and Malaika actually uses her moisturizer before her serum. I use only it. Mm-hmm. The thing is that you want to press it into your skin. Mm-hmm. You don't rub it into your skin. You also do your décolletage. Anything that's left over, because of all of the anti-inflammatory properties that you have here. And I like to press. That's how I get pore less. Press, pore less. Press, pore less. That was, yes, thank you. All of the leftover, I use on my scalp with the braids because it's really good and hydrating, and especially since my scalp has been dry, really great for your cuticles and your edges. And we did a limited edition, which they might have to come back full time. We'll see. Rose quartz rollers, and then just massage your face. And so the massaging of your face upward obviously just helps to prevent the creation of wrinkles. When I do this, I also steam my face as well. So to allow the glow to seep in, you can steam before you apply, steam once it's on, and then roll.
I love it. And this is your day and night, Tai?
Sybil, you're so funny. I don't do it every single day. So when I do my facial, I know where you live. No, I'm kidding. I probably only do this like 2 times a week. But, you know, a part of this for me is really also creating that meditative and kind of like restorative environment. Brown Girl Jane actually has a playlist on Spotify for any Spotify users that is called Wind Down with Brown Girl Jane that Kiss the DJ curated for us. And so I'll take this as, you know, a 15-minute moment for me to kind of get into myself and allow my skin to glow. But this is 42, Sybil.
I love it. No, it's 25, honey. It is forever 25 with you.
Thank you. Forever 25. Thank you.
It's forever 25. What about that CEO CBD smoothie?
Who wants to talk about the smoothie? Malaika, you should talk about your smoothie.
Yeah, I mean,
and Nia, both of you do. Nia, you do your smoothies too.
I was going to say Nia's the smoothie girl. I take it straight up, but I think that what we were trying to do is just make sure that it was easy. We're busy. Everyone's busy. No one has time for, you know, hugely complicated wellness routines. Unfortunately, we want to take as much time for ourselves as we can, but we know the realities are that we're getting pulled in so many directions these days. And so, yeah, whether you like it in a margarita at 5 or 2, or you like it in your smoothie, it's just easy. It's easy to do. And so you can drop it in your tongue, drop it in your smoothie, drop it in your wine, drop it in your guacamole or your hummus also. I mean, drop it in your soup. There's so many ways. Just get it into your body and it's gonna do its thing. And so that's the cool part.
I want to shout you 3 beautiful founders out for being so collaborative, for taking the time to invest in us. And it's been such a great evening. Right, Rochelle?
Yes, it's been fantastic. Y'all give me so much joy. Cheers, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Love and blessings to all of you. Thank you.
Great girlfriends, did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast, into the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends. You follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great_GFS. Last but not least, we'd like to thank my amazing husband, Kwaku, Sam and Dilly, and all of you for being a part of the global community that makes us so strong. Please remember to share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil Amuti, and I'm out. Peace.